Good evening. DL here. Uh this is Legends and Lore, and I tried to do this as a recorded kind of professional style show, and that just didn't work. I am more of a live guy. I am more of a let's talk to the people guy. So, this is what we're doing. Right now, zero people are watching. Hopefully that'll change. There we go. We got one in here. Valhalla, Tim, my man. Thank you for being the first guy in here. Um, when I started doing this, I wanted to do something interesting. I wanted to do something that was not the normal beard stuff and cap stuff that I normally do. Tim, not much, man. Just chilling, trying to recover from a pretty brutal week. Honestly, it's been oh, it's been rough. But I wanted to do something that kind of encapsulated everything from cryptids to urban legends, myths, um, things like that. So tonight I'm going to be talking about paranormal investigations and demonology, which I do have some background in, but I'm going to be talking about the darker side of those things. You know, you see these ghost hunting shows all over. Excuse me. Swallowed my coffee wrong. You see these ghost hunting shows all over, and Tim, we are both going to bounce back better than ever. I know it. Marcus, what's up, man? Um, but tonight, I'm going to be talking about the darker side of those things, the paranormal investigations and demonology and things like that. Um, but you see these ghost hunting shows, and quite frankly, I can't stand them. I think they're goofy as hell. Uh, you know, a lot of it is staged. Um, and then even some of the stuff that isn't staged, these idiots go in and they try to provoke these. Oh, damn it. I told you. Rough ass week. Um, they go in and they try to provoke these spirits and things, and it's just not a smart idea. Yes, Marcus, the skin graft surgery. I'm glad that went well. I have had a skin graft before. I had a third-degree burn on my calf from a motorcycle, and it was brutal. Um, so I'm glad that went well for you, brother, and hopefully you'll heal up real soon. You got a lot of people rooting for you. Um, you're gonna have to forgive me tonight, man. Like I said, I'm swallowing my coffee wrong. I sound like shit, uh, but we're gonna push through. Um, when you go into an investigation, and granted, there's a lot of people that don't believe in that shit, and that's okay. Um, but I do. I've done it. I've lived it. I was the member of a paranormal investigation team here in Georgia for about 3.5 years, and we saw some pretty wild stuff. Now, when you go into an investigation, you got to go into it A, open minded, and B, you got to go into it with the mindset that, let's not trigger anything bad. but these shows on TV and shit, they just play with fire sometimes, and it'll come back and bite you in the ass. Hey, Marcus, you know what? Always going to have the support, man. We appreciate you, and just it was a horrible accident, but we're glad you're getting better. No evil spirits. That's right. Now, I'll tell you, I have I've been on 3 investigations in my life that scared me. The first one uh, was at the old Marietta Cemetery here in Georgia. Um, we went out there. Matter of fact, it's where John Benet Ramsey is buried. Fun fact. And we went out there because we heard reports of uh, not just voices and shadows, but we also heard stories of full bodied entities. And so we went and we did a night investigation. We got there about 8 o'clock at night, and we stayed until about 1 in the morning. And I'll never forget. I was standing. There's a little shed that is a tool shed for the groundskeeper that's in the center of the cemetery. And I was standing by there with a friend of mine, and probably 25 yards away, I saw this beautiful, beautiful woman in kind of a mint colored dress, uh, redhead. I like redheads. And I was drawn to her, and I kept hearing her in my head saying, "Come here." Well, at the time, I was not in the greatest of health. I was 335 pounds. Uh, I was very sick and didn't realize it at the time, but I was pretty much knocking on death's door. And I asked everybody that was standing around, "Do you see her?" And only one person said, "Yes, I see her." Everybody else said, "See who?" And I started walking towards her, and my friend grabbed my arm and went, "Don't do it. That's not good. Don't do it." And I just kind of looked at my friend, looked down, and this entity had turned into this ashen, it went from a beautiful woman to just this kind of corpse looking thing, and then dissipated. And I will put my hand to God and swear on a stack of Bibles this happened. Um, uh, I honestly believe that that was in the bad shape that I was in. I think that that was quite possibly death. Uh, wanting me to come with. But interesting fact: 3 days later, I landed in the hospital for 12 days and clinically died and was brought back. So I have a feeling there's something there. Corpse Bride, no, wasn't any Tim Burton shit, but who knows? I do know that it did have an impact on me. Uh, and uh, it's something that I will carry with me forever. The memory of that. Uh, you know, there are things out there that people don't either don't realize or don't want to know about. And, I've seen some shit. I mean, I am a Christian and I believe in God, but I also believe that there is another world out there. That is kind of in between this world and heaven and hell, and nobody can convince me otherwise. No ring. You're a goof. Now I have friends that are paranormal investigators from all over, and I don't know one of them that has not had an encounter with something that was most likely malevolent. Um, uh, there's reports of people getting scratched, people getting knocked on their asses, people having things uh, thrown at them, and you know, I 100% believe that it happens a lot. Now, the thing is, when you have a group of people that go into an investigation, 9 times out of 10, if there's something malevolent there, it's going to target one person. And I've only known of one investigation that was done by a group of friends of mine where they went into a house that absolutely was haunted and absolutely had something evil in there, and it targeted everybody. Everybody. Um, there was one of the ladies that was in the basement doing an EVP session, and a shovel came flying at her and damn near clipped her in the face. Another one was her partner, who was upstairs in one of the upstairs bedrooms, was absolutely just terrified, stark, raving sheet white, and came running out of the room because something had grabbed him by the throat and started choking him. Uh, you know, everybody thinks, oh, hey, you know what? We're going to get into paranormal investigations. That's a fun thing. You got to go into it with your open mind, but you also got to go into it with your heart saying, hey, you know what? Bad shit can happen. And, you know, too many of these people that decide they're just going to wake up one day and start doing this, they end up, uh, you know, realizing that, oh my gosh, it's not all fun. Your wife does that to you while you're sleeping, huh? Somehow I doubt that. But, it's not all fun and games. And it's not, sometimes you have investigations that are fun. Sometimes you have investigations where you reach a spirit and you communicate with something that is pleasant. And those are great, you know. But those are rare, believe it or not. Those are rare. Most of the times, most investigations are pretty dull. But when they're not, there's usually something that is not nice. Um, there's something to be said for somebody being able to go in and uh, really, deal with stuff like that. Uh, could I do it now? No, I don't think I could do it now. I don't think I could deal with it now. I'm a little too old. I'm a little too jaded. and uh, investigating just wouldn't be the same as it was 25 years ago when I did it, 20 years ago, whatever it was. Now, there are evil places on this earth. I am in full belief, and yeah, hey Marcus, honestly, uh, if if my friend hadn't been there to grab my arm and tell me not to go to that girl, I would have probably gone to her, and I would have. Honestly, I believe that I wouldn't be here. It sounds stupid, but I absolutely wholeheartedly believe that. And this is the funny thing when, because during an investigation, you take pictures throughout the night. When we developed, and this was back when, you had to either develop film or you had, the first real digital cameras. And back then, we used to use disposable cameras and go get them developed because that was the easiest thing to do. Uh, when we got those pictures developed, everybody was 100% clear in those pictures except me. In every single picture, my face looked like it had been smeared. It was the weirdest freaking thing. Um, well, thank you, Marcus. I'm glad I'm here too, and I appreciate it. But how can you have a whole set of photos where everybody in the shot has a clear face except for one person? And I highly believe that's because I had something evil hanging over me, waiting for me to die, because that's how sick I was. Now, evil places, uh, there are tons of them, man. Tons of them. I've been to quite a few. And, there's a place in Kentucky called, that used to be there. It's not there anymore. It's called Bob Mackey's Music World, kind of a country western dive bar. And the history of this place was such that there was so much evil that had happened back in the 1800s on this spot and in this building that people actually believed that there was a portal to hell in the basement. And they actually had several Catholic priests come out and try to uh, exorcise demons from this place. Two of the priests ran out of the building and said they would never come back. Um, that says something. When you can shake a priest's faith, there's something a little bit evil there. And I believe the place has been bulldozed since then. But let me tell you something. Go on YouTube and look up Bob Mackey's music. I think it's Bob Mackey's Music World. I think all you got to do is type in Bob Mackey's, and you'll see some freaky shit. And it's those places that you would never think. A redneck country music hall. Evil? You wouldn't think so. But man, that place scary as shit. Let's see. We only got the two of you in here. I'm surprised. Uh, you know, Normally we have three or four by now. But eh, let me ask you all this. Have either one of you ever dealt or felt like you've been around any type of evil spirit? You know, and don't be afraid to say yes or no, or, you're fucking crazy. Uh, but it's an honest question. I want to know if either one of you, Marcus or Tim have ever felt that you've been in the presence of an evil spirit? Uh, I've asked this question of people before in the past that I've just been talking to, and you'd be surprised at how many people that have said they really felt that they have. Tim, oh, you've never experienced it? That's a good thing. I mean, your ex-wife. Uh, well, then I got two evil spirits I've dealt with. Um, but you'd be surprised at how many people. Seriously, how many people have said, "Yeah, I felt something evil." Marcus, yeah. Let's see. The crap I've been through proves something been trying to take you out. Hey, man, you know, uh, it's it's uh it's always good when you can prove and show whatever evil spirits that you can't be taken out. Josh, my man, I hope your dog emergency isn't too serious. That's part of the reason why I've been having a bad week. We just found out that my senior dog, he's 17, we found out that he has diabetes and liver disease, and he hasn't been doing good. And we're trying to figure out, how to square away his medicine and stuff and whatnot. But I hope your doggo is doing all right, because dogs are better than people. Let's see. The house you grew up in, there was something on the land. I have no idea what it was, but something dark. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you what, I'm with you on that. I grew up in a haunted house in Connecticut, and I grew up in on land that I absolutely, even as a small child of 4 years old, knew that there was something not right. Um, Growing up, where my brother and we had bunk beds, and I was always on the bottom bunk, and there was a vent, uh, by pretty much by my head, uh, on the bottom, on the wall by the bottom bunk, and between, you know, it started between 3 and 4, maybe 4.5. I started hearing voices in the vents, always around like 2:30 in the morning. I started hearing talking and voices in the vents, and I would go to get up, walk into my parents' room, wake their asses up, and be like, "I hear something," and of course they were, "I'll go back to bed." Um, y- you know, I absolutely uh, hated that house, and as I got a little bit older, I noticed things would happen in the house. You know, if I got up at night to go and get a glass of water, I would walk into the kitchen, turn the water on, put my glass under there, get my water, turn the faucet up, off, and before I was halfway back up the stairs, the water would cut back on. This didn't happen just once or twice. This happened multiple times a week. Um, there was a tree in our backyard. They had this huge knot hole in the base, and just it looked like a hole that went down for miles. And I remember, and this is no joke, you're going to laugh. I remember being about 6 years old outside during the winter playing in the snow, and I was standing by that tree, and I heard something whisper my name coming out from that what seemed like that pit to hell in that tree. And I ran inside screaming. I told my mom. My mom, of course, thought I was Looney Tunes, or just being a kid. There was absolutely something there. There was absolutely something in that house and on that land, and I will die on that hill. Uh, well, let me ask you this, Josh. What kind of experiences did you have? You know, what kind of what kind of experiences made you think that there was something dark there? Because I've had people that have grown up in haunted houses that said it was an absolute joyous experience, that they had people watching over them, that they had spirits that would watch over them and protect them. And I wish I had grown up with that instead of what I did. Uh Appalachian Trail is not too far off. I mean, I could get to the Appalachian Trail within a couple of hours. I've heard of a lot of stories about the Appalachian Trail. Um, I've never been on it. Uh, I know it goes from like Maine all the way down to Georgia, but uh, you know, I wouldn't mind going there. I actually wouldn't mind, uh, if I was still investigating, going and investigating a little bit of the trail. Uh, you know, there's there's a lot of places I wish I got to investigate. I'll be honest with you. Squatch hunting. I've never gone squatch hunting. Do I believe in Bigfoot? Absolutely. Why not? Have I ever gone looking for Bigfoot? No, no. Would I? Sure. Honestly, I'd go looking for Squatch now before I'd go looking for spirits. Um, you know, and that's just because I'm a cryptid freak. Uh, one of the things I've always wanted to do is go to the Pine Barrens in New Jersey and go look for the Jersey Devil. Call me stupid, but it okay. Dark, oppressive, like everyone was angry and sad. People would fight all the time after it was sold. When my mom passed, family same. Well, that's the thing, Josh, with energy, be it uh, dark and malevolent, or be it happy and protecting, it will affect whoever's living there, uh, if if they are emotional people. uh, you know uh, I firmly believe that my mom and dad never saw anything or felt anything weird like I did, because uh, although they were loving and they were emotional people, they were not in tune with uh, any type of entity or spirit. But I believe that even without knowing, they probably experienced something. Uh, and something like that can affect everybody in the house, and that's a fact. Uh, it was family land since before Texas was even Texas. Well, Josh, I believe you, man. And the fact is that it sounds like there's a string of bad juju there, and I, just be glad you don't live there anymore. um, but there are a lot of evil, evil houses. In my book, you know, uh, there's a house called the Velisca Axe House, and basically what had happened was this house with this family. I'm not sure exactly how many kids. I know there were like two daughters, a son, and they had another child that was sleeping over. Uh, Somebody was hiding in the attic with an axe. And when everybody went to sleep, they came down and killed everybody. And, for the longest time, I wanted to go investigate there because of just so many reports of paranormal creepiness. But you know what? If somebody said, "Hey, we're going to go to the Velisca X house, you want to come now?" I'd be like, "Nope." Uh, it's hard for some people to believe that something negative can influence people so strongly. That's a fact. You know, there's usually three types of people: people that absolutely believe that spirits exist and that there are good and bad spirits that can affect you. There are people that don't believe spirits exist at all, and they just kind of go along their merry way. And then the third is somebody who is spiritual, but not necessarily believes in spirits, but they believe in something. And, the people that don't believe in anything, God, ignorance is bliss, right? Um, but people like me, I'm an empath. I'm very in tune with these things. Always have been since I was a kid, and sometimes it's a joy. I have literally uh, been able to watch some restless spirits uh, find peace, but other times it is an absolute nightmare. Yeah. Hey, Josh, you just nailed it. There is a dark stain on certain places, and quite honestly, uh, there can be a dark stain on certain people. Um, everything leaves a mark. I firmly believe that. It's just like, you know, this is going to sound like kind of a bullshit analogy, but it's true. They have now 100% determined that a woman carries the DNA from every man she's ever slept with. Carries some form of his DNA, leaves a mark. And that's no different with these things. Something bad happens in a place, something tragic, it's going to leave a mark. It's going to leave that stain. Something good happens, something joyous, it can leave a mark too, you know? But 9 times out of 10, when something leaves its mark, it's because it was not something fun. Uh, you know, there are different types of hauntings. If you've ever heard of the term residual haunting, I, you know, residual haunting is when a spirit does the same thing night after night. They're stuck in a loop. If you go into a place where there is a residual haunting, and let's say this spirit was used to every night at 8 p.m. they would go get up from their recliner, walk into the kitchen, make a cup of coffee, and then stand at the counter and drink that cup of coffee. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see a spirit move from one room to the other and maybe hover by the counter. Yeah, that's a residual haunting. They are stuck in a loop doing the same thing over and over again. And that is a form of a stain. Anybody got any questions? I'm not an expert, but I do know quite a bit, and you know, always open for questions. So don't be shy. Um, one of the things that I have noticed over the years is that uh, you never lose if you're in tune with spirits and the paranormal. You never lose it, but it can go dormant. I've always thought it was a trauma that goes with the bed is just as profound that it really bleeds so deep into things. Uh, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Tim, have I ever seen an exorcism? No, I have not. Um, I've never been invited to witness one. Um, and quite frankly, I don't know if I could uh, stay and witness that. Um, Now, I have had people call me and ask me to come remove bad spirits from their house, and I have done that. I've had people ask me to come and cleanse their houses. Um, I've actually had somebody come and ask me to get an evil spirit out of the car once. And Andy Barrett, good to see you. But I have never seen an exorcism. Would I be interested in seeing one? Oh God, yeah, it would be interesting, and I would like to see one, but I don't think I could. I don't think I could actually be in the room and watch that. Hey, you've never experienced spirits of any kind, but I do believe demons exist in people and influence their decisions. I can agree with that as well. I do believe that some demons reside in human beings, and the shell that is the human is just a mask. It's just a housing for that evil. Uh, I believe Hitler was one of these people. I believe Hitler was a demon in the shell of a man. Residual haunting always makes me think of the movie The Others. How the ghosts don't know it's them that's dead. That's the thing, you know. You know when you die, if you're a ghost, if you're stuck being a spirit wandering, do you really know you're dead? I think some do and some don't. You know, um, it all depends on how you die. I believe if you died peacefully, you probably know you're dead. If you died some form of quick, traumatic, uh, death, maybe not. You may not know that you actually passed. And to go back what Tim said, you know, evil exists in this world all around us. And 9 times out of 10, that evil is deep seated inside of man. And, you know, I have, I have literally, in my opinion, been in the presence of pure evil before. And, uh, you know, I firmly believe that that's the case, what Tim said. And, you know, the problem is how do you discern? How do you discern who's evil, who's truly evil? And how do you discern, somebody who is just playing the, for the lack of a better term, emo goth kid, in school? Uh, you know what I mean? Um, I actually, you know, I think demons are the embodiment of uh, everything that we are fearful of. And when they creep into a human soul, uh, you know, that to me, I it's hard fixing that. Some of these recent shooters, there have been some really odd things said on video or in the manuscripts. Yeah, hey, look, without getting too into it or too political, I absolutely believe that some of these recent shooters are absolute demons. Um, y- y- you know, uh, first of all, it takes a really evil person to be able to take someone's life just at random. Um, it takes a really, really evil person to premeditate taking someone's life. Um, you know, this world has gone upside down, and in my opinion, uh, we need to try to rein in the evil uh, and rein it in with goodness and kindness. You know, everybody these days hates each other, and everybody, thinks they're right about one thing or another. And the fact is that, uh, you know, while we think that way, uh, demons are always going to pop up. I've never experienced any evil presence, but I have had a fair amount of times that I believe I saw signs of contact from past loved ones. So I think there's a connection to the other side. Yeah. You know, this is a funny thing. Uh, after I had my second stroke, my wife, who wasn't my wife yet, we were just dating at the time. Uh, I had I was home from the hospital and laying in bed and wasn't feeling great, of course. And my wife said that while she was laying there watching me sleep, that she saw a woman kind of materialize out of the closet in our bedroom. And it was the spirit of an older lady, probably in her 70s. And she walked over and she stood by the bed where I was. And my wife said that for about 30 seconds, she watched this woman caressing my hair. I had hair back then, a little bit, but caressing my head and, like comforting me. Uh, you know, th- that to me That doesn't scare me at all. And then come to find out, when she told me about it, uh, my wife did a little research and found out that the woman who owned the house we were renting at the time had passed away there in her 70s. So I firmly believe that that person was still residing in that house and was a very loving, compassionate spirit that was trying to watch over and protect me. Um, you know, thank God, in my opinion. Uh, uh, Whether those types of spirits are angels sent by God or if uh, they're stuck on this realm and they're here to uh, they're trying to make their way into heaven or whatever. To me, that was an absolute blessing. um you know there is there's so much evil in the world today, and there's so much negativity that you know what uh, something like that with that old lady, I wish I could experience something like that now, because it would give me a little hope, for the world. um Now, tell me this, guys. Have any of you ever felt a good spirit? Have any of you ever felt like somebody was watching over you, somebody was protecting you, somebody had your back that was unseen? You know, you hear a lot of stories, uh, of things like that, and to me, those are more interesting than the evil stories. But if any of you have ever experienced something like that, let us know, man, because those experiences, those will absolutely stick with you for the rest of your life. Uh, give you a prime example. One Halloween night back in 1993, my band that I was playing in, I was bass player of this band, and we had a gig in North Georgia. I was living in kind of middle Georgia, and it was about an hour and a half drive to the gig. It was a Halloween gig, and we got there, we played. Let me see here. Well, Tim, let me tell you something. It'll happen. Um, but we drove to this gig, we did this gig, and on the way home, it started raining cats and dogs. I mean, just sheets of rain. And me and the girl I was with, we couldn't see squat. I'm driving, and I decided I needed to find a place to pull over till the rain went, and passed by. Um, well, before we could find a place to pull over, my tire blows. And the only place to pull over is in the emergency lane on the highway. It was actually an off ramp, or yeah, it was an off ramp. And so I'm getting out, getting soaked to the bone, changing this tire, busting my knuckles, cursing, bleeding. Just it was freaking miserable. And then all of a sudden, this BMW pulls up. I'll never forget this. Pulls up, pulls in front of my car, right in front of my car. Two black guys get out, walk over, tell me to move aside, and they changed my tire put my bad tire in my trunk, and looked at me and they said, "You have a blessed night." And they got in their car, and before they drove off, I I couldn't help but notice their license plate. It was ANGL1, Angel One. Now, in Georgia, you're supposed to have seven letters and numerals. This was just Angel One. That to me is not a coincidence. Absolutely. My grandpa died before I was born, and he smoked Swisher Sweet cigars. And when any of us would get sick, you could smell cigar smoke in our rooms. We always knew it was him watching over us. Absolutely, brother. That's the good stuff. You can get triggered by smells. You know, it, it's it's really an amazing thing. Uh, the sense that we smell when we are around a spirit that is known to us. Oh man, that shit's amazing. Hey Marcus, dude, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. You know, I know a lot of people who say that their grandmother or grandfather has watched over them or have come to them and things like that. Uh, I've never experienced a grandparent. Um, I felt my grandfather's presence, but I've never felt like he was there with me. You know what I mean? Uh, it's a special thing, and I know this show was supposed to be all about the bad side and the dark side of you know ghosts and paranormal experiences and demons and shit, but it's also good to talk about the good stuff. Uh, the good stuff is what keeps us hopeful and keeps us really, uh, honestly, it keeps us in tune with everything around us. And Tim, I honestly absolutely feel that at some point you're going to feel that. Jeffrey, what's up, dude? Now I'll tell you, Sean Madigan was supposed to pop in here tonight. I don't know if he's going to. We're almost done, but you know, I did want to say, you know, shameless plug. Tomorrow morning, if you're up at 9:30 in the morning, Beards and Brews right here on the Scallywag Network. Um, Me and Sean, you know, we just talk about whatever we feel like. We have a couple of cups of coffee. We bullshit and batter back and forth. Hey, Tim, I can honestly tell you, I believe it will happen. If I'm wrong, which I don't think I am, I'll let you punch me in the mouth. But I don't think I'm wrong. Um, but tomorrow, if y'all are up to it, whoever's up for it, Beards and Brews right here. It'll be a fun time. Now, let's talk about good for a minute. Okay, let's talk about good souls that are here on earth, good people. I firmly believe that good people, truly good people, exist in the world. And I believe that truly good people, when they pass on, they're going to leave an incredible mark on their surroundings, their environment they were in, and uh, in their history, the history of them. And I just pray that, when I am dead and gone, and hopefully that's not anytime soon, I just pray that, I can be remembered and leave my mark as a good person. And I think anybody, uh, that should be everybody's goal. There's a long line of people worthy of face punches before me. Uh, I know this. And you know what? I mean, as much as I try to be a good person, I might be able to help you out with that. You know, I've said it before in videos and I'll say it again. The goal in life every day should be a better person. Be a better person today than you were yesterday and be an even better person tomorrow. That should be your goal. And when you pass on from this mortal coil, from this shell, hopefully at the end of it all, people can say, you know what? That was a good person. You'll bring the shovels. I'll bring the lie. Um, Good people can be very harsh as well. My mother was an example of harsh and very good. Absolutely, Jeffrey. There's a dichotomy that goes on with some people. Some people are really good people, but they're gritty, they're harsh, and that doesn't necessarily mean that that part of them is bad, but it just means that that part of them, uh, in my opinion, uh, that just makes them just a little bit harder than most. Um, you hear the term tough love all the time. Uh, the fact is that if I grew up with my parents letting me do whatever I wanted to, and they didn't discipline me at all or anything, I wouldn't be here today. All right. You know, my dad looking at me and saying, "You fucked up, son," and having that discipline, uh, that made me part of what I am today. And sometimes harsh is good when it's needed. Now, I'll tell you, I got a grandmother that passed on years ago. Uh, my mom's mom. She was not a nice person. She was bitter. She was miserable. My grandfather, my mom's dad, I love that man uh, more than I could ever say. And he was absolutely the antithesis of what his wife was. And, it, you know, it's times when I have to wonder where her spirit went, you know? Is her spirit, did she go to heaven? Did she go to hell? Is she still stuck in purgatory? Is she doomed to wander the earth in her fuzzy robe and bath slippers and, uh, you know, uh, scowl at everything and, fart when she walks? Who knows? But it's something I wonder. Um, y- 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 you know, uh, I want to thank everybody for showing up. We got 5 of you in here, and I appreciate that. Um, Curlers, yeah, markers. Uh, she absolutely had curlers. Um, but I want to thank everybody for coming in. I have struggled with trying to figure out whether or not I should continue this show. Um, just for the fact that it doesn't seem very popular and the people that come in, they seem to enjoy it, of course. But and I'm not all about the views. It doesn't have to be about the views, but I do want to entertain people and I do want people to enjoy it. and I do want people to tune in. I mean, and the numbers are just paper thin weak, but if you guys tell me to continue on and keep going, that's what I'll do. But I do appreciate each and every one of you coming in. Some of y'all have been here for every episode, and it's amazing. And you know, I got some shows planned that please continue. It can get more popular, be consistent. I try to be consistent and I try to Mr. Madigan.
Oh shit, I'm live. What's up? What's up,
Not
guy?
much, man. We were just talking about the show and talking about how I was, I had been thinking about, just acting this show, but
Right.
uh, these fine people are telling me to keep going. So,
Keep going, man. Hell yeah, keep going.
yeah. Um, but uh we started off talking about, you know, evil and bad things happening and bad demons and, the
Right.
dark side of like the paranormal. But
Yeah.
then it got into the, kind of the good side where we talked about like protective spirits and uh,
Right.
things like that. Tell me something. I know you've done paranormal investigations in the past.
Okay.
What kind of experiences have you had, good or bad?
Well, I mean, are we talking ghosts, cryptids, or what? Because we got a little.
Let's go let's stick with ghosts on this one.
All right. So before I moved to South Jersey, and don't mind me, I didn't realize I clicked live, and I've had a couple, so I'm sorry about that, guys. But
So good.
Lakehurst, New Jersey, man, it was a house, but it was turned into four apartments, right? And it was really weird. I was with my ex at the time. She had a little daughter. She was 2, and we had Jeremy, who was 5. Her kids. The little daughter was being tormented every night. We turned the living room into like a bedroom area,
Right,
and well, not the living room, but like off the back part of the living room, and so the kids could each have their own rooms. But anyway, so she used to come screaming out of her room every night. The boy, the boy, the boy, the boy's scaring me. The boy's scaring me. And it was like getting to a point where it really freaked me out, man. To be honest with you, and and then I would like hold her, do everything, and put her back in bed and
right.
whatever. So I had an English bulldog at the time who used to growl at the closet, and and then one night I yelled at him. I'm like, "Get away from the damn closet, dude!" And I'm yelling at him. He started growling at me and never growled at me. Like he
Right.
walked me all the way back to the other end of the thing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Long story short, we ended up finding out the basement. I wouldn't even go in this place. I went one time and it felt like I was surrounded down there. Like it was just a
Oh shit.
god awful evil feeling down there. Um, so anyway, so I wouldn't really go down the basement, but ended up doing more research and finding out that this was all one house in historical time, like 100 years earlier. I forgot what year it was
Right.
specific, but found out the father killed the whole family
Oh shit.
and had a lair down in the basement, and it was turned into like 4 different things. So it was weird. And I actually, before I found that out, I had asked my neighbor. I said, like, listen, dude, have you ever heard, or anything weird? He was like, dude, I would take a shower and I would get out and throw my clothes on the floor and I would get out and they'd be folded on the thing. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. And he was like, no, I swear to God, dude. He's like, it's freaking me out. I'm like, wow. So I found out they found the boy in that closet where my dog was barking. The room that Desiree, my youngest, was sleeping in, my youngest at that point was sleeping in was the boys' room, and where they found the mother killed was where the other guy's apartment was.
Oh,
So it was just a wild experience, and they found all sorts of satanic things down in the basement, and it was just a wild experience. Now, in between all this was the part that actually broke me. My dog was having a lot of issues. It got attacked by a pit bull, and he
right,
started getting violent with uh, the, the kids a little bit. Not violent, but like, so I ended up having to bring the dog into the to the shelter because I was afraid of the kids. You know what I mean with that.
right.
The one day Desiree ran out of her room, and she just started petting the air. She goes, "Oh, hi, Muggs." That was my dog's name,
Right.
and that like broke me to. I mean, you want to talk about a grown man just bawling his eyes out, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so it just let me know, like, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, man, but
That's pretty tough.
it's definitely a wild experience, and
Amen. And I appreciate you telling us that story because I love stories like that. Now Marcus says, now that's some creepy crap. Don't touch my clothes. Yeah, you're not worried about the satanic shit in the basement. You're
right, right,
worried
right,
about somebody touching your caps,
right, 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 right. Yeah, they're worried about the caps, Marcus.
right? Hey, I just want to say, Delmer, Jim Mitchell, thank you for coming on. Good to see you.
Yeah, man.
And
Jim, good to see Jim, man. Delmer, who else is in here, man? Marcus, Jeffrey, good seeing you guys, bro. Sorry,
yeah,
Andy's hanging out, man. Valhalla, Tim's in the house. All right, what's going on,
yeah,
guys? My apologies. It's been rough, man. I've been fighting with hospitals in Florida with my dad. It's been,
how is
man.
that going?
I put a load on tonight. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I ain't even gonna try and bullshit. I needed to just drown myself a little bit tonight. The stuff with my dad has got me here, and the care in Florida is so absolutely putrid and wretched that it's like, I mean, like nobody knows what they're doing or what's going on with my dad, and it's just got me to the point of breaking point. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
so
no,
my
I
apologies.
understand.
I didn't mean to pop on like the buzz guy and shit.
No, it's all
But
good.
my buddy over here, there we'll see. My buddy Greg over here popped in to hang out with me and like cheer me
Hey,
up a little bit.
So now, Tim said, "Don't touch my drum set either." There
Yeah,
you go. Let,
I'll
let,
leave.
let me
I'll,
t-
I'll
let me
leave
tell
that one
you
alone.
something. Somebody touches my guitars and they get shot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, man. But yeah, so
Tim says, "Sorry to hear that, brother. Prayers for your pop."
thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. It's just I just don't get it, man. It's like he went from 2 months ago completely normal to uh stage 7 dementia. There's just something not right about what's going on down there. And like 8 people called me for consent yesterday, and between yesterday and today, and nobody's communicating on what's like going on with him. Like he literally went from normal to, I mean, forgetful a little bit. I mean, but Jesus Christ, so am I, dude. I walk in a room, I can sing every '80s song word for word, but I can't remember why the hell I walked in a room. But like he went from that to literally thinking it's 1985 Brooklyn, dude, and like can't even swallow, can't even remember how to swallow with a feeding tube. So it's just not all sitting right with me. That there's something else. I don't know, man. I
Yeah.
don't don't I don't
Look,
want to take over the show with that bullshit, but
no, look. Let me just say this: you're absolutely got a lot of people that are sending good energy his way and your way, and it's a tough thing. My dad, the last 6 months of his life, I was helping my mom take care of him. What I was doing was I would ride my motorcycle over to mom's house on a Monday and
right,
stay until Saturday morning and then go home and spend Saturday and Sunday with my family and then drive back there and take care of my dad throughout the week. And uh, the last 6 months of his life, he had pretty bad dementia, and
Oh,
it's a tough thing to witness, and it's a tough thing to deal with. So absolute prayers to your brother and your dad.
thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. It's been a
Let
and I'm
me
going down to Florida to see him, but I'm trying to pick the right point to go because he
right
was supposed to be home. So I was going to do like a little, go down and spend a few days when I'm at home. But now he's going from that. Well, this is the part that got me. That's got me arguing with the hospitals because 2 days ago he was supposed to get. He left the hospital after a month, went to the
rehab.
rehab. 2 weeks in the rehab, and Encompass is good rehab, but they couldn't figure out. They couldn't help him, so he had to go to another nursing kind of thing. So what happened is so we called up because we didn't hear anything. He was supposed to get transferred. So we call up. Oh, well, he fell and broke his hip. He's in the hospital again. I'm like, how the does nobody call anybody like and let us know? So I just snapped all over it. Like, I mean, I snapped. I'm like, how do you not call us and let us know that he fell and broke his hip while he's in rehab under your care? You know what I mean? But anyway, like I said, I don't want to take over the show with that, man.
Well,
I see
hey
the
man,
viewers went from like 14 to like
look,
6. Some
look,
bullshit about this, so I don't want to like take
above above all else, all right. I consider you a brother just like I consider Tim and Marcus and a brother. We're family. You come on here, you need to vent, you vent. That's
yeah.
that's the way it is. There's no rules here. Now Jeffrey said I was holding my mom's hand when she passed. I seen an actual light in her eyes and happiness like no other. For 1 second, my mother told me everything I needed to know, and she always gave me, uh,
Gave and never took.
yeah,
That's cool, brother.
that's cool. Look, I was there when my dad passed. We had gotten him a hospital bed and put it in his den, which was his favorite room, and me and my mom and my brother and sister were there, uh, and I, everybody had fallen asleep, and I was out on the patio having a cigarette, of course, at my mom's house, and I got this feeling. It was at 1:42 in the morning. I got this feeling to go inside and look at your dad. It's time. And I walked in and I saw, now he had not been able to talk or anything like that for several days. And well, actually, it was probably closer to a week. And I woke my mom up and I said, the way he's breathing, I said, it's close. And my mom got up. She was sleeping on the couch next to the hospital bed. And she shot up. And I went and woke my brother and sister up who had stayed over there as well that night. And 2 minutes after everybody got to the room, it was done.
Uh,
And
well, I
you
mean,
know,
sometimes, I don't want to bounce. Well, no, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut your story off. I was gonna like bounce something off that, but when you're done, man.
well, I was just going to say, we were talking about good spirits and protective spirits. I'll tell you what, a lot of you know that uh, about 5 years ago, I had a very bad motorcycle accident, uh, and I just remember right before I had to slam on the brake. I had a choice. Option A was to hit this vehicle and probably die. Option B was to slam on the brakes and hope for the best.
Yeah,
And before I could even make that decision, my dad's voice went through my head, and uh, no joke, clear as day, my dad said, "Brake, God damn it!" And I broke. I got thrown from the bike about 30 feet. landed on the side of the road, but I'm alive.
That's it. Hey, sometimes things help out, man.
Yeah. I
You know?
mean,
I don't know if you saw that video that's going around Facebook now with that biker who was cruising down the road and a dove flew in front of his face. Did you see that video?
no.
So, guy's humming, and I guess he has the camera on, and this fucking dove, as he's cruising, I mean, he's humming down this road, this
Right.
country, and as he's cruising, this dove flies right in front of his face, and it shakes him all up, and he comes to a stop, almost falls off the bike about 5 feet before it was a cliff that was going to go all the way down.
Holy shit.
So it's just kind of like, there's little miracles, man. You just got to recognize them when they come, man. It's
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Jim Mitchell says, good thoughts and prayers to you guys. Absolutely love to talk about it and let it out. Like Tim said, it really helps. And let's see. I was with my dad for months before he passed from ALS. It was rough. Look, ALS, man, that's a tough one.
yeah,
Uh,
that is tough, brother.
you know, God bless you, Jim.
Yeah,
And you're right, Tim. Tim says that's what brotherhood is for, and that is a fact.
it is.
Um,
Thank you, man.
Now,
Hey, guys.
real quick before we wrap this up, because we're at an hour and 16 right now. Uh, I just want to say that uh, don't ever give up hope that you will uh, feel, see, or experience your loved ones again, because it will happen. Um, you know, you just got to believe it, and you just got to know that you're gonna see them again one way or the other. And uh, you know, I want to thank everybody who showed up tonight. Uh, Going to thank anybody who watches it on the replay. But uh, y'all have had this has been my favorite show so far because y'all have told me some really cool stories, and I can't thank you enough for opening up like that. John, thanks for coming on and telling your stories and uh, letting us know what's up with your dad. And like I said, tomorrow morning, whoever's up for it, 9:30, Beards and Brews. We're gonna have some fun tomorrow. We're gonna be a little more lighthearted than we were tonight, and I hope everybody that can make it does. And that's right. And Tim just said, if you guys ever need to vent, you have my info. Always here to listen. That's a brother right there.
Yeah, appreciate you, Tim. Tim's a,
And that
Tim,
goes for me and Sean too.
Tim's
You
a real
know,
Josh, man, Jim, dude. All these guys are real, man. That's why I love the brotherhood and appreciate it.
absolutely.
And same
My
thing, man.
my
Anybody ever needs it, hit my
my
message are always open, man.
my circle is small and my tribe is small, but they're mighty.
Right, indeed, brother.
All right, guys. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. And just remember that you matter.
Crush it, be demented, and keep it scallywag.